Hey Crafty friends, Christina here with you for this week's tutorial. We are going to be doing something new with y'all. We are starting a new series called Crafty Copycat Creations. My sister-in-law Barb and I are going to alternate weeks where we're going to show you some ideas starting with a concept that is the same, just to kind of inspire you and get those creative juices flowing. And so this week we are going to be doing a little upcycling. Here you'll see this is one of our Stampin' Up kit boxes. Most of our kits come in these boxes. They have the nice decorative side elements, and so I thought that this was perfect for us to upcycle. What we're going to do is we're going to take this and we're going to make it into something that you can use for yourself, or you could gift it. I'm actually going to gift these for this holiday season. I think it's a fabulous idea. I went with stuck with that color of just the black, and I actually used the modern Christmas paper, and I didn't use it in a Christmas way. And then when you go ahead and open it on the inside, I'm going to show you how you can create dividers so that you can have it be putting all your cards and then all your envelopes in here. You could add some stamps, you could add a decorative pen, and then you could gift this to somebody for the holidays, for a birthday gift. Just something fun and truly from the heart. So let's go ahead and get started. So as I was saying, this project is going to be an upcycled project. So not only are we going to be able to use these boxes, which is awesome because these are really sturdy boxes, but the other thing you can do is, if you've gotten some Stampin' Up Designer Series paper, you know that several times they come with this, it's like almost like a chipboard. It's a little bit lighter than chipboard, but you can use this to cut down for these divider elements if you want, so that you're truly upcycling everything. I chose to just do cardstock, but either works great. So here are what the measurements that we're going to be doing. So you're going to go ahead and get your paper trimmer. Let me move this out of the way here for a minute. You are going to have a piece of 6x12 paper, and this one we are going to go ahead and score it at 1.5. So we're gonna go ahead and put it in the paper trimmer here and go at 1.5. Make sure it is butt up against the edge so that you get a nice straight score line. And then I'm using, if you have the Stampin' Up one, you're gonna go ahead and use the gray blade, so that way it's just scoring and not cutting. And then you're gonna go over to the 3-inch mark. So you've got 1.5, 3. And then you're gonna go ahead and open up your arm. And I love how sturdy the arms are of the Stampin' Up trimmer, so you know that it's not gonna wobble or anything, and you won't get an exact measurement when you're doing this. So you're gonna go to 7 3/4, 9 1/4, and 10 3/4. All right. So now you have this first piece all scored. So what we're gonna do is, it'll be handy to have a bone folder so you can get nice crisp folds. You're just gonna go ahead and fold back and forth, kind of accordion folds on all of these score marks. So this is what you're going to be left with. So as you can see, it's starting to take shape. This is gonna be a side panel, another side panel here, and this is going to be an edge that we're gonna go ahead and glue the next piece, because it's not long enough for your whole box. So we're gonna take another piece of paper, and this one measures 6 inches because we're staying with that 6 inches. I'll just show you. You see it'll line up with this. So we've got 6 inches tall, and then it's 6 3/4 long. And so we're gonna start by scoring it at 1/2. So when I do the smaller denominations, anything that goes up to 1.5, I will do on the right-hand side, because then it's a little bit more stable. So we're gonna go ahead and go at 1/2 here, score that. And now I'm just gonna go ahead and rotate it 180 degrees here. So I've got the 1/2 inch on this side, so that way I can keep scoring. And so then we're gonna go to 3 3/4, and then 5 1/4. And so this little 1/2 inch one is the one that is going to go ahead and get glued to the back side of this remaining tab that we have here. And then we're gonna go ahead and create our final panel that is gonna be the divider to hold our cards and envelopes. Okay, so this piece here is gonna look like this. This is what I was talking about. This is the divider. These two pieces go like this. And then this little 1/2 inch tab, I have gone ahead and put some score tape on there. I hope you can see that shining through there. So you don't actually need to bend that score line. That score line is more just to give you a guide of how far you want this other piece to go, so that you have a way to go ahead and match those up. So I'm gonna go ahead and line those up, so that way it creates one long piece, so that can fit inside the box. So just go right up against that score line. And there, now you can see you've got the inside element here that's gonna go inside the box. So I'm just gonna go ahead and place this in. So I just wanted to show you, you don't need to actually tape up the dividers. When you put them into the box, they will stay. I did on my sample box, I did go ahead and use the tear and tape to go ahead and glue them just because I thought it gave it a little bit more stability. But in actuality, if you want to skip that step, you absolutely can. So then we have another optional piece that we can do here if you want, just to make it look a little bit more professional, more complete. And let me just show you what that is before I give you the sizing. So you see this back strip here, this just kind of completes the inside organizer of the box. We don't actually have one here in the front, just because when you're looking at it, you're not really seeing it. And also it's gonna kind of mess up with this, the way that there's that little cutout here, and then the box lid wouldn't close very well. So I've chosen to not include it there. So you can have that there or not have that there. You can kind of see the difference here. You go ahead and leave it like that, seeing you just see that cardboard if you don't have that piece, or you have that piece and it makes it just look a little bit more complete. So if you want to go ahead and add that piece, the measurement for that one is 9 1/4 by 3 inches. And then you're going to go ahead and score it in half at 1 1/2 here, so you can fold it in half just like we've done to create a sturdier divider. Okay, so I'm going to put this in at 1 1/2, score it, and then I'll go ahead and fold it in half, and then you just go ahead and insert it in that back portion, just like so. And again, you can go ahead and glue it together with a tear and tape, or you can just have it be like that, and you can see it holds by itself. So you can use those inserts that come with the designer series paper, or you can use cardstock like I have. And if you use cardstock like I have, you could go ahead and change up the color, kind of coordinate it. You could use the black that's with the box if you're staying with that color tone, or whatever you're going to decorate the front with that. So I want to show you a couple more things here on my decorating. And in particular, I wanted to show you how you can get more out of your cardstock, so that way you don't have to waste it when you're layering. So that's one trick I wanted to show you here. So let me grab my paper for that. So in my sample here, let me just bring that back in so you can see it. I have put a small thin layer here of the black, again to tie in with the black decorative side of the box. And then I've used that Modern Christmas. And so if you don't want, you can do this with this project and all projects. So this is why I really wanted to share it with you, because I feel like it's a really good a way to save your papers and get more out of them. So you could just go ahead and layer them just like this. And I'm sure most people do that because it is just quick and easy, right? But you could go ahead and cut out this center panel here so that you still have that to use for another project. Because once you go ahead and layer this Modern Christmas on top, you have no idea that the center part is missing. So let me show you how you can do that. So I'm gonna go ahead and close up my arm here. So you are going to go ahead and you're going to stick your paper in your paper trimmer. You're going to be using both this ruler that's part of that holds it in place, as well as your ruler here up at the top. So I'm going to do it at 1/2 inch. You could do 3/4. Actually, let's just do 3/4 just to really make sure that we have enough space. So what I do is, if I'm doing 3/4, then I'm going to do 3/4 on the side ruler here. That's where I'm going to start. I'm going to line up the little etched line of my blade right there, go down, and then I'm going to go down here until I have 3/4 down here. And it doesn't have to be exact. Like, that's the other thing I really want to mention, is that when you're doing this, you don't have to have it be exact, because you're not going to see it, right? This isn't like for the card or the box or anything like that. It's just so that you are able to save some of the paper and not have it go to waste by being covered up. So I can already tell that's not 3/4, so I'm just going to kind of move it over a little bit so that way that line matches up with that. And then I'm going to go down and bring it down again, and just keep going like this, matching up that line, that etched line on the blade, and using your side ruler. And then you may need your scissors at the end, because the lines might not match up, and you might need to do some just minor snips at the end to get that center panel out, but that is not a big deal. Okay, so as you can see, I have to do those little snips I was talking about, but you can see that I'm going to be saving a lot of paper. So here you can see that I have cut that piece out. So this now I can save and use for something else. This is going to work perfectly for my box. And I believe I forgot to give you the measurement. This is 9 1/8 long by 6 inches wide. And then this Modern Christmas is just a 1/4 inch less. It is 8 7/8 by 5 3/4. So I'm just gonna go ahead and glue that directly on there. So you can't even see that, that I've gutted that centerpiece, but on the back you can see it. So I'm just gonna go ahead and glue those together, and then I'm gonna glue that to the top part of my box, and we will continue on. Now I have that glued down, and I did want to give you a tip, because this is going to be handled a lot. It's not like a card where somebody opens it, looks at it, and then maybe puts it on their mantle. This is something somebody's going to open and close a lot. I did use the tear and tape to go ahead and adhere down these pieces just so they're really solid on here. And so the next piece, if you wanted to have it be like mine, is another piece of black cardstock. This one measures 8 7/8 by 2.5. And then I'm taking 2 pieces of the white that measure a 1/4 inch tall, and they are 8 7/8 inches long. And those are just going to be glued flush to the edges, the 2 edges here of this piece. And then I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to glue it a little bit below center, just so it has some visual appeal here. It could be centered if you want it to be centered. It could be up above the center line. It's however you want it to look. All right, next I went ahead and I used our party alphabet. These are amazingly large. I love them. They're great for cards and scrapbooks alike, and any other projects you might be working on, like some banners. And so I cut these out in gold, and then what I would recommend is that you go ahead and you kind of do a little test run here by placing them down before you add any kind of adhesive, just to get a sense of spacing. And putting cards on here does take up most of the space, so it will be pretty close. I wanted to have them have a little bit of lift to them, so I am actually going to adhere them with some dimensionals. Just kind of show you the difference. Like, so this is here it flush, and here has some lift to it because I put the dimensionals behind it. It just is a subtle little difference. And because it is going on the black cardstock, I am going to use the black dimensionals just so that it's not as obvious. I don't see the white popping through. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. And then the finishing touch will be that I am using the Strawberry Slush and Pretty in Pink gems. They have these nice ones that are kind of clear with little gold ones. And then I'm just adding a couple of those here on the side. And that's how I will finish off my box. A couple of quick notes that I wanted to just give you about this project, just to kind of give you a little bit more inspiration, is you could also decorate the inside panel here if you wanted to. Tie that in, that's another option. I didn't choose to do that. And then you can choose to use the same papers that you used on the front for decorating, which is what I did. I did that Modern Christmas, but I didn't want to have that Christmas look. So like I've just used a couple different ones that show off the gold. I really love the gold in this collection, but I wanted to kind of steer clear a little bit of the Christmas ones. There's some trees and follow the law and stuff in there, and I wanted it to be a little bit more neutral, general, so that way I could put some cards in here that people could use throughout the year. Another thing you could do is you could do a decorative pen. You could put some ribbon, like tie ribbon around the cards or the envelopes, both of them, just to make the package look a little bit more even complete and personalized. So I hope you enjoyed this. Like I said, Barb and I will be having different ideas with the same concept all month long, so that way hopefully it inspires you. We would love to see you do a copycat of it and make your own version, share. We would love to see it. So please feel free to like this video and subscribe to our channel so you don't miss future videos. And until next time, stay crafty.